All right, so we're back on the back side of notes for day 5. And number 1 says using the accompany diagram with A, and this is the parallel symbol. I'm not quite sure I showed you guys this on the front side. But when they draw the parallel symbol, it could look like that. The lines could be closer together like this. Sometimes they'll draw them more vertically. All right, but those two lines, anytime you see them, they're not touching. You take that as the parallel symbol. Parallel. And if you look, there's the symbol right in the word parallel. So it's a great symbol, just like how I think perpendicular is a great symbol for what it represents with the 90-degree angles. I think parallel has a great symbol too. All right. And anytime you see this picture, you should automatically pick up your highlighter and go ahead and highlight. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight angle 1. Angle 1 has the same measure as angle 4. And if I cut this transversal and slide this intersection down, angle 1 would fall on angle 5. Therefore, they'd have the same measure. And angle 4 would fall on 8, and they would have the same measure. Okay. If you want to highlight the other ones, that's up to you. I like to just because it makes my picture pretty. All right. So there's 2 and 3 would have the same measure because 2 and 3 are vertical. Okay. If I cut this intersection and slide it down, 3 would fall on 7. So 3 and 7 would have the same measure. And 2 would fall on 6. And so 2 and 6 would have the same measure. All right, so all those green angles would have the same measure. All the red angles have the same measure. And now they're going to ask us a bunch of questions. So in part A, they said list 3 pairs of vertical angles. Well, remember vertical angles, guys, are these angles that look kind of like a bow tie. I always think that they look like a bow tie anyways. All right, so remember vertical angles, you got 2 intersecting lines, one angle on one side, one angle on the other side of that point of intersection, and those are vertical angles. So if you see that situation right here, okay, see how angle 1 would be vertical and congruent to angle 4. Likewise, angle 2 would be vertical and congruent with angle 3. Down in the other intersection, angle 5 would be vertical and congruent with angle 8. And there's another pair, might as well list it. Angle 7 would be vertical and congruent to angle 6. Okay. Part B, it says list 2 pairs of corresponding angles. So remember corresponding, how I told you John's seat corresponds to Marissa's seat? So they're in the same position, just in a different time. Corresponding angles are in the same position, but on a different parallel line. Okay. So if I look at, let's say, angle 1, who's in the same position as angle 1, but on the other parallel line? Angle 5. And corresponding angles are congruent. So angle 1 and angle 5 would correspond and be congruent. Okay? Angle 2. Angle 2 is in the same spot as angle 6, just on a different parallel line. And so they would correspond to each other. Okay? Angle 4 and angle 8. And angle 3 and angle 7. I know they said only 2 pairs, but I might as well list them all, right? Part C, list 2 pairs of alternate interior. Okay, so remember the word interior. These are the angles in between your parallel lines, okay? And they want alternate interior. So if we pick angle 3, it would be angle 6 as its alternate interior pair. And notice they're the same color, and so they would be congruent. The only other pair would be angle 4. His alternate interior would be angle 5, and they would be congruent because they're the same color that I highlighted them in. Part D, list 3 sets of angles that form a linear pair. So when you think linear pair, you're supposed to think a line and then a little separator. Okay, this little angle, this little divider here separates this angle here and this angle here. Okay, but they're next to each other on a line. So if you look, everybody see the line here, separator here, 1's on one side, 3's on the other. So we could say angle 1 and angle 3 would be a linear pair. However, notice 1 is red and 3 is green highlighted. So they're not congruent. The only other option is that they add up to equal 180 degrees. Okay. They want 3 sets. So right below them, how about 2 and 4? They just lie on the other side of the line. So angle 2 plus angle 4 would equal 180 degrees. And they want one more pair. There's actually many of them. And you could go this way too. See this line here with the separator and see 1 and 2? Angle 1 plus angle 2 would also add up to equal 180. They're a linear pair. They're next to each other on the same line. They would add up to 180. Okay. Next one up, it says list two pairs of alternate exterior. So when they refer to exterior, they refer to the angles outside the parallel lines, which are those ones, okay? An alternate exterior. So for instance, if I pick angle 1, his alternate exterior would be on the other side at the other end, and it would be angle 8. And notice angle 1 is red and angle 8 is red, and so those would be congruent because they're the same color, so they have the same measure. Okay? The other pair of alternate exterior would be angle 2, and on the other side at the other end would be angle 7, and notice they're the same color as well. They're both highlighted green in my picture, so they're congruent. Okay? Part F, they want you to list two pairs. All right, so list two pairs of same side interior angles. So again, they refer to interior. So I'm going to go back to what I boxed here in the yellow. Those are my interior angles. And they want same side interior. So we're going to go ahead and say, let's pick angle 3. Same side of the transversal, but still inside. And so that would be angle 5. And take a look. 3 is green, 5 is red. Therefore, they're not the same color. They are not the same measure. Therefore, the only other option is that they add up to equal 180 degrees in this picture. Okay. The other pair of same siders are angle 4 and angle 6. They're on the same side of the transversal and still inside the parallel lines. And so, again, they're different colors, so they would add up to equal 180 degrees. Okay. Part G, list two pairs of same side exterior. Same side exterior. Exterior refers to going back to those angles that I boxed in black. All right. And they want same side exterior. So if I pick angle 1, who's on the same side of the transversal as angle 1, but in the exterior, that would be angle 7. And take a look, angle 1 is red, angle 7 is green. So they're not the same color, therefore they're not the same measure, and so they must add up to equal 180 degrees. Okay. The other pair would be angle 2 is on the exterior, and on the same side as angle 2, but also on the exterior would be angle 8. And again, they're not the same color, therefore they'll add up to equal 180. Okay. Part H. List 3 angles that are congruent to angle 3. This is very easy if you do the highlighting. So take a look. Angle 3 is green, isn't it? I highlighted in green. Who else is in green? So angle 3 would be congruent to angle 2, who is congruent to angle 6, who's congruent to angle 7. They all have the same exact measure. Okay. Next one. List 3 angles that are supplementary to angle 3. All right, so angle 3 would be supplementary to all the red ones. So angle 1 would be supplementary to angle 3. Angle 4 would be supplementary and add up to 180 with angle 3. Angle 5 would be supplementary to angle 3. And angle 8 would be supplementary to angle 3. Okay, so angle 3 plus any one of those angles would add up to equal 360. I'm sorry, not 360, 180. Okay, let's go ahead and go down. Number 2, in the accompany diagram, what this says is that you have line AB, which is here, and that symbol between them. See those two parallel skinny lines that are vertical? That's their parallel symbol. Okay. And then they say CD is a transversal. CD cuts through those parallel lines, and that's how those 8 angles are formed. Okay. And again, anytime you see this picture, try to highlight. Okay. There's no numbers to highlight, but you can go ahead and put your highlighting dots in there. Okay. those 4 angles would all be the same, and these 4 angles would all be the same. Okay, all right, let's see what they give us for expressions. They said the measure of angle BCD. So from B to C to D, this angle is 2x plus 10. Try to put the expression as close to the angle, the vertex of the angle as possible. Okay, and the measure of angle FDC. So F to D to C is this angle here, which is 3x minus 20. And so now they want us to find the value of x. So we have to figure out what's the relationship between those angles. It'd be awesome if you know what they're called. And they are actually on the interior and they're on the same side. So they would be called same side interior angles. And if you remember the alliteration, same side interior angles are supplementary. And remember, supplementary refers to adding up to equal 180. So we would take 2x plus 10, and we would add 3x minus 20, and it should total or equal 180 degrees. Another way of seeing it is that, see how this dot underneath this expression is red and this dot underneath that expression is green? Different colors refer to supplementary. Same colors refer to being congruent or equal. Okay? All right, so 2x and 3x make 5x. Positive 10 take away 20 is negative 10, equal to 180. Go ahead and add 10. And you're going to get 5x equal to 190. And we're going to divide by 5. And x comes out to equal 38. Right? Then they ask you to find the value of x. Well, we did that part and the measure of angle ACD. So now I got to go find where angle A to C to D is. And that's this angle right here. Notice it's highlighted in green. Therefore, it's going to have the same measure as this angle right here, who's also highlighted in green. So it makes the most sense to plug into there. So 3 times 38 minus 20. 3 times 38 minus 20 ends up being 94 degrees. And that's equal to the measure of angle ACD. And real quick, guys, what I want to show you is that if I clear off this picture, find my eraser. Let's make this a little bit bigger. And I'm going to just go ahead and put back my highlighting. Remember, we just figured out the measure of angle ACD, which is right here, and that's 94. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Undo. Make sure I'm on my pen, not my highlighter. This is 94. Well, so would this be? Because they're both green, right? And those are vertical angles that are congruent. And then this would be 94. Oh, I must have took my highlighting away on this one. But that would be green. And therefore, it would also be 94. Okay? All the other ones are supplementary with 94. So if I did 180, take away 94, I would have 86 degrees. And therefore, all the red angles here that are highlighted in red are 86. And so you can see what a complete picture looks like with all those angle measurements filled in for all 8 angles. Okay. All right, we got one last question to do. Again, it says in the diagram below, we have AB, who's a line parallel to line CD, and EF is the transversal cutting through them. And then they're going to give us some measurements. And before I do it, I really do recommend highlighting. Okay, so we can go ahead and highlight those 2 angles as red. Therefore, those 2 angles would be red. Green, 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 and green. Okay. All right, now they will go ahead and ask me or tell me that the measure of angle BGH. So B to G to H. So this angle here is 5x minus 45. And the measure of angle CHG. C to H to G is this angle here, which is 2x plus 75. Okay, so it'd be really cool if we knew what the name of those angles are, because that is very helpful. And if you look at them, they're both on the inside, but they're on opposite sides. And so they call those alternate interior angles. And notice there's no same side, so they're not supplementary. They're alternate interior angles, and they are congruent. Another way you can tell is notice that they're both on red highlighting, and so they're on the same color, and so the same color refers to meaning that they have the same measure, and same measure means that they are equal. And so 2x plus 75 is going to equal 5x minus 45. I'm going to go ahead and subtract my 2x. We end up with 75 is equal to 3x minus 45. Go ahead and add your 45. And we end up with 3x on this side. 75 and 45 make 120. And divide both sides by 3, and x comes out to equal 40. And they said to find x, but they also asked you to find the measure of angle FHD. So F to H to D is this angle right here, and it's red, which means I could either plug into either expression because both of those are also highlighted in red. So whichever one is easier, I'm going to go to the 2x one. So 2x is going to become 40. So there's my 2x plus 75. And so that's 80 plus 75, which is equal to 155 degrees. And that is equal to angle FHD's measure. Okay, again, so not only would this be 155, this would be 155, this would be 155, and this would be 155. What are all the other ones? Well, the other ones would be supplementary with 155. So if I take it away, I can figure out that the other ones are going to be 25. So 25, all the green highlighted ones, 25, 25, and 25. And there's our complete picture. Okay, hopefully that helps, and we will most likely have to practice those angle pair names and their relationships to make sure that we get it down. So study away. All right, bye guys.